Hello. I sound so bad. But I've got to do it before Monday. I have to do it. And I haven't got anyone in the house right now. The whole house is gone. They've gone to see some friends and their 2 little kids. So I thought this would be the perfect time to do the prep. Ow! Oh my gosh, there's a needle in there. Oh no. I've just been poked. Goodness gracious, I didn't know about that. Anyways, sorry about that. I thought it would be the perfect time to do the prep video because no one's home. So it's nice and quiet, except for the rain. So this is what we've got. I'm just going to quickly go through all of the materials that you'll need, and then show you how to trace your pattern if you want to. Oh my gosh, I don't have fabric up here. We'll have to just pretend. We'll have to pretend for the fabric part. I'm sorry about that. I left it downstairs. But anyways, all I'm going to do is walk through everything. Everything is also in your pattern. So once you grab your pattern, you'll get a little PDF document like this, and it literally goes through everything. Okay, so some of the stitches, it'll tell you how to put your fabric in the hoop like that. I'm going to show you here as well on a smaller hoop. All the materials that you'll use. It's not a secret. I'm going to go through all of them. And then down at the bottom, you've got your colored in copy, how it could look if you use colors similar to that. And then also the pattern. So everything is there in your digital download. I think I'm going to keep this one at 10 pounds just to try to encourage more people to join. Okay. We actually haven't got a lot of people for this one, and I'm really surprised. I haven't done a giveaway post because I actually have one picture, and it's the picture I've already posted. So I need to get it all out again this evening and take a little picture so I can post the giveaway, and then I'll give away the pattern for you and a friend if you guys want to stitch it up together. So yeah, and hopefully more people will join that way too. So I'm just going to go through all the things that I'm going to use. Not necessarily every single thing you can use, but all the things that I'm going to use. So I'm going to use one of these Pilot Friction Heat Erasable pens. They've got different widths of them. So this is the 0.5. They've also got a 0.7, and they've got a 10 or a 1 technically. It's a bit hard to see on this one because it's hidden in the swirls. There. That one's 7, and it's just a little bit thicker than this one. And then there's even ones like this, which are the fine liners, or like this, which is the colors. Okay, so this is probably the thickest one that there is. And then this one here is the thinnest. So you can kind of see how tracing the pattern, it might be easier to be a bit more accurate with a smaller tipped pen. Obviously, you can use a pencil or a regular pen if you wanted to. You could even use like a stick and stitch type thing where you print the pattern out on the stick and stitch paper. Okay, you peel it off, then you stitch on top of it, and then rinse it off with warm water. You could use something like that if you aren't or if you don't think you are that great at tracing the pattern. I tend to stick with these. They're super easy. They're easy to buy. They're not very expensive, and they come in lots of different colors, lots of different thicknesses. What I mean by the thicknesses, let me see if there's any space on here, or if I can get an extra. Let me see if I just have like any. Here's some fabric, like from a little 4-inch kit. But this is the fabric that I was going to use anyways. So this is what I mean. So you've got your thin, oopsies, like that. All right, and then that's 5 too. This one's 7. So a bit thicker, a bit bolder. Then we have a fine liner, which is more like a marker tip. if you see like that. It's got more of a marker tip to it, but it does have the eraser thing on the end. And then you have the thickest one, which is the colors, which is a lot thicker. So I'm just going to show you up close. So again, 0.5, 0.7, then we have the fine liner and the colors. So the colors is a little bit thicker. And these come in a big pack. I haven't found them in single colors. So you actually do have to buy a big pack if you want to have them, which is a little bit annoying because it's going to be more expensive. Whereas if you go to like, I don't know, Office Depot or something, you could probably just get one of these, you know? So there's always that. Or Tesco if you're here. In England, they sell them at Tesco. I used to have the really thick ones, but when I went back this time, I actually didn't buy any, which is a shame because I actually really love to use them, the thick ones. But yeah, these are super good, and they just erase with heat. So you can iron them, or you can use your hair dryer, and they will blow dry off. The next one is some scissors. You're going to need a pair of nice sharp scissors to cut your embroidery thread, and then a different pair. Please do not cut your fabric with the same scissors that you cut your thread. Keep these scissors nice and sharp for that. So yeah, you'll need those, but you don't have to get any special ones. You can just get regular, even kitchen scissors. You can use those. I would only not recommend the children's safety scissors, only because they're supposed to be dull and they're going to fray the ends of your thread. So when you go to thread your needle, you're just going to have a bad time. So try and stay away from those kinds of ones. Right, next are needles. I sell needles in my shop. They're my most favorite needles. Hi, Sarah, and hi, Claire. I saw my mom was here too. So hi, Robin. Sorry. And what we're going to be using is, I tend to use 2 needles, like exclusively, and then sometimes throw another one in. So we are going to need one for all 6 strands, which is this one here, all the way to the left. And then I tend to use one for kind of 2 or 3 strands as well. And it's just a little bit smaller. And the reason is because when you have a thick needle that takes all 6 strands, oh, hi, Robin. Sarah says my Robin is here too and says hi. The shaft of the needle, which is this part right here, the long metal piece, it's going to be thicker to make a thicker hole or a bigger hole in your fabric. Okay, it's just pushing those fibers out of the way to make way for all 6 strands of your thread. So when you get a smaller needle, you're going to get a smaller eye, which is where you put your thread in. And you're also going to get a thinner shaft here. Okay, so it's not always about, what's easiest to thread. Sometimes you need to size down because you're using less strands. Okay, and the easiest way to show you that is to literally just poke a hole in this fabric, and you can see what I mean. So when you're poking your holes and when you're stitching, okay, all you're doing is just moving that fabric out of the way. So do you see how the threads of the fabric, they're just kind of moving to the side like that to make way for that fabric to sit in there nicely. Now, if you've got a really big hole like this and just one tiny strand of your thread, that strand of thread is going to move around in that hole. All right, it's not going to lay where you want it to. But if you've got a smaller one, so say you've got just one strand and you've got a smaller needle, you're making a much smaller hole. I don't know if you guys can see that. But you're making a smaller hole, which means that you're moving those threads of your fabric away, but just a little bit. And it's going to make that one strand of thread fit in there so much nicer. So that's really the main reason that we use different sizes of needles to accommodate the different strands that we have. So I could talk about this for a really long time, but I won't, okay? I promise you I won't. But a good pack to get would be like a DMC, like 1 to 5. You get 5 different sizes. And yeah, it's nice to have a little experiment. I get the John James needles, like 1,000 at a time. So I've got a ton of these left. These big ones. I'm still yet to find a good one for this one, so I'm still on the lookout. But yeah, you can buy them in the shop, or you can buy them straight from them, especially if you are in the UK. You can get a little John James needle pack. If you've got a favorite needle and you want to get ones that are similar to that, John James actually does a PDF that has all of the needle sizes laid out in the actual size they are. So when you print them, you can lay your needle on top of it like that, and then you can see which needle best resembles your favorite needle, which is how I found these ones. My favorite ones. And these are the ones that I got poked by. So there we go. Next up is fabric. So I always tend to use this white, really nice fabric from Barry's Fabrics or Leon's Fabrics in Manchester. It's a really nice weight of fabric, and it's just really, really nice to stitch through. You can also use a linen. Let me see if I've got any examples of the linen one, because I've got a market tomorrow and I've been doing a bit of rearranging, which is always detrimental because I move stuff places and then I can't find it again. Well, I haven't stitched through it, but you can kind of see the difference here. So I've got the regular fabric that I use here, which is a smaller weave, and then you have the linen on the other side, which you can really see has a bit more texture to it, and the weave is a bit more open. So I would suggest these two. You can get a Kona cotton, which is really, really nice, really lovely colors. If you are in the States, RIP Joanne Fabrics, which is just terrible. But they used to have a Country Classics quilting cotton, which was really, really nice and cheaper than the Kona cotton, but a very similar quality. So you might want to Google that if you're in the States and you're looking for a couple different colors that you might like. I don't like shopping at Hobby Lobby, but there are some colors at Hobby Lobby. I don't know what the brand is, but you can get them there. And if you like shopping at Michael's, which I love shopping at Michael's when I go to the States, it's kind of like our Hobbycraft, but like times 1,000. Michael's has, some of their things have fabric now. So I took a little video when I was back in the States. I'll share after this. Because the one that I had was in Adrian, Michigan. And it wasn't a big store, but it was a newer store, like within the last year. And they've got fabric in there now. So have a call or have a look or call your favorite Michael's shop and see if you can find some really nice cotton to stitch on. But yeah, that's my favorite kind. So find one of those. What we're looking for though, mainly is no stretch. So if you find like a sheet, like a flat sheet, and it's 100% cotton, grab it, because that will be perfect to stitch on. If you find even those like decorative shower curtains, not the ones that are plastic, but the ones that are like, they're 100% cotton and they're just made to look pretty, some of those are really nice to stitch on too. And I actually have a friend who launched an entire business by making her kits from a shower curtain, which is hilarious, but also incredible. So there we go. We've got fabric sorted. Right, we've got our hoop, which is up here. I'm using an 8-inch hoop. Obviously, you can zoom in and out and make the pattern bigger or smaller. I would probably stick with 8 inches and no smaller than 6. Just to show you the difference. This is an 8-inch hoop and this is a 6-inch hoop. And you think it's only 1 inch smaller all the way around, but it actually makes everything a lot smaller. So I probably wouldn't go smaller than 6 unless you want to stitch with like 1 or 2 strands for the entire time. So what we've got here is an 8-inch embroidery hoop. I actually haven't been able to find my LBZ hoops at the place I get them at, so I don't know if they're just like out or what's the deal, but these are a nice beach millward embroidery hoop. Take this off. It is raining. Holy cow. So what you're going to find is you have 2 hoops like this. You've got one here and one here. And what you're going to do is put your fabric inside this hoop. I've got some... Oh, this is a napkin. I've got a little napkin. I can show you on the napkin, okay? So what you're going to do is put your fabric inside the hoop like this. And then put your, open a bit more. And then tighten it just a little bit. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to, do you see how it's kind of pulling it tight right there? We're going to pull that just a very little bit all the way around. Now again, this is actually a napkin for a kit that I'm gonna do. And we use them in the summer box as well. So that was really fun. And what you're gonna do is keep pulling all the way around. And then tightening the top. You might have to use a screwdriver in the top here. So I've always got screwdrivers. Give it a nice turn. Okay. Give it a nice tug again all the way around. And what you're looking for is your fabric here over the top to be drum tight. Okay. And when you put your finger all the way around the edge like this, there's no big gaps. So your fabric doesn't actually go down like under the hoop. You're not able to press it down. And then normally what I do is cut this around about that much all the way around so that I'm really easy to work with it. You know what I mean? So it's very easy to work with it. Right. So the next part is your pattern. So I've printed my pattern. You don't have to print it if you don't want to. You can take your pattern once you get it and you can make it the right size. Let's go 100% here on my iPad. So I've got my iPad over here. We can put the color all the way up. Okay. And one way to do it is to flip it over. And you can trace this directly on to your fabric like this. And then after you've traced it, you can flip it over, take it out of the hoop, flip your fabric over, and then rehoop it again so that the pattern is on the front. That's one way to do it, especially if you haven't got printer. And I actually used to do that for every single pattern when I first started. So I would draw something with like paper and pencil, and then I would either take a picture of it and make it the right size that I wanted to, or I would have to redraw it and then trace it in like a black marker so that I could trace it onto my hoop, and then I would sell them like that. So I'm telling y'all, where there's a will, there's a way. Oh, I'm roasting actually. Got a market tomorrow, so I've been like frantically getting all the stuff around for the market. I actually sold more than I thought, so I'm a little bit do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how this is gonna go tomorrow. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut on the inside of the line. Okay, don't worry about cutting it on the line. You can cut it a little bit closer even. And the other way is to put this directly behind it like this. Line it up. And I like to use blue tack. I've got a bunch of blue tack over here. Like a ton of it. And what I like to do is shove it in where you want it to go. And then you're going to take a little piece of blue tack in like 3 different spots. And you're going to put it some on the paper and some on the wood. Like that. Just to hold it in place so that you don't have to hold it whilst you're tracing it. Also, if you've got a window and some sunshine or a flashlight or just like the flashlight on your phone, that works really well as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to push your fingers behind like this. Okay. And you can trace it on like that. Obviously, I'm not going to do it because this is a napkin and it's not not what I want it to be on. But that's how you're going to trace it. Oh, looks like the kids are home. Oh dear. Don't know what's happening there. But as far as threads, I've got a color copy on... Oopsies. I've got a color copy here on... Hi, Jessie. The kids are home, so she's like, yay! Oh my god. I've got color copy on here. There's no thread numbers. And the reason I don't put thread numbers is because you can use whatever color you want to. So say you've got yellow pencil, you could use a yellow like this. You could use a yellow like that. You could use... It's probably going to be the exact same yellow, isn't it? 29. Nope. You can use a more bright yellow. You can use any kind of yellow that you want to. Tori Ferreira. My name is Tori, spelled exactly the same way. I don't think I've ever seen another Tori with just a T-O-R-Y. So, welcome. Sorry to call you out. They're probably gone already anyways. But yeah, that's basically the reason why I don't put any color numbers, because it's really, really nice to pick your own things and you can do what you want with it. So, oh, there we go. I know other people have watercolored their fabric in the background already. Some people have used patterned fabric, which is really, really nice. You don't have to use white. You can do it literally any kind of way that you want to. I've done a lot of videos about watercoloring your fabric. So if you would like to do that, go and check out like the underwater, under the sea Stitchalong that we did over the summer. Or you could do the February free Stitchalong. There was a watercolor option in that one. That one was like that, where we did just like a regular color. And then we also did watercolor for this fairy one. So if you're looking for watercolor, there's lots of videos that I've done on them already. Go ahead and grab those. And yeah, that's pretty much it. All I want to say for the rest of the video now, before I say goodbye, is literally just try your best. If this is interesting to you, share it with a friend. Obviously wait for the giveaway so that you can hopefully win a free copy. Share it with a friend. Just try your best. And if you've got any questions at all, anytime, then just let me know. And I'm always happy to answer. So hopefully you have a lovely, lovely evening. And I'll see you on Monday where we're going to actually start stitching. So make sure you have your pattern on your hoop and ready to start stitching on the first day. Okay? All right. I'll see you on Monday. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.